But I want to start off with a story. Can I tell you guys a story?
Yeah.
Cool. Now, a couple weeks ago, my wife had to deal with a company, and it was AT&T. How many of you guys have to deal, when I say deal, how many guys have to deal with companies? Yes. So she had to deal with AT&T. Basically what happened was that she had to cancel one of our lines for, a specific reason. And AT&T said, okay, just do this, this, and this. Go to the store. This, and this will happen. Okay, cool. We go to the store. This, and this does not happen. Okay, fine, whatever. We go back. She calls AT&T. And basically she says, hey, you're saying one thing to me. The store is saying another thing to me. You guys are not working together. What's going on? So the guy's like, we'll try to figure out the problem. You know what? I'm writing notes into your account right now. In fact, we will give you a call back in an hour so that our manager could talk to you. Oh, thank you. We get home. An hour passed. She calls back. Hey, I didn't receive a call. And basically the person says, well, there's nothing in your notes that says that we were going to call you. Oh, man. So the guy lied, basically said whatever he needed to say to get her off the phone. We know customer service. So next guy she's talking to basically says, well, it's not our fault. It's your fault. And she's like, wait a minute. You're saying that because your store doesn't know one policy and you don't know one policy, that it's my fault? You're a Fortune 500 company and you can't get that together. This is just crazy. So basically the guy's frustrated saying, no, you're wrong. And she's saying, no, you're wrong. And it's going back and forth. She's getting frustrated. And basically the guy says, well, I got to transfer you to a different department to resolve this. So he transfers her and basically hangs up on her. Yeah, dealing with companies. This is what it is. So basically, we gotta love, there's always some issues with companies that's just so annoying. Just recently, Starbucks got so annoyed. I love Starbucks. But they changed their reward program and it just messed everything up. I said, forget it. And Apple, iPhone, I love iPhone. But there were times where I looked at the phone and I said, guys, you're a Fortune 500 company. You couldn't do a copy and paste in the email? That didn't come in your mind when you were making these phones year after year? So it's just like, how dare you? How dare you not be able to produce this? How dare you not be able to, you have these features missing. And you get so frustrated. Comcast is another one. Oh my goodness. I worked for Comcast and I hated talking to them while I was working for them. It's just so nice. How dare you? How dare you treat your customers like that? How dare you do that? And we get so annoyed. We understand, right? We understand the level that they need to play in because they're a Fortune 500 company. How dare you? How dare you? These are your customers. These are people you should be caring for. How dare you? But I have a better question. How dare you guys? How dare I? And in the context that I'm speaking about that is how dare you, how dare I, is that how dare we place these high expectations on companies, which is fine, but not place the same, if not more, on ourselves to grow each year. How dare we? How dare we place these expectations on companies that are concerned about the customer's experience, and yet our thing is we need to be concerned about souls, and we're not placing the same expectations on ourselves year after year? Same with the phone. I was like, you don't have this feature in there by now? What is going on? That's the expectation I put on a Fortune 500 company who's dealing with customers here on earth. But yet we're called to deal with souls? How dare we not Step it up. Which basically comes to my title of this message is upgrade. Upgrade, defined as raise something to a higher standard, in particular, improve by adding or replacing components. When I'm saying how dare you, how dare I, it's because God spoke to me saying, man, these companies, they have an understanding that unfortunately, I'll speak for myself if you guys can relate. Unfortunately, I don't have that same understanding. And it's kind of sad. They have this understanding of life or death. Now, if I pull out the first original iPhone today and say, hey man, here's a new phone, here's something new that we're about to sell you guys, you would laugh, right? You would laugh at Apple because that was, 7 years ago? 7, 8 years ago? It's kind of like, wait, what? That doesn't even help us in our situation today. So, they understand, Apple, Toyota, any company, Walmart, all these people, they understand that if you're not growing each year, you will die as a company. Meaning you won't be able to help anybody. You will die. So these companies, they understand that there's so much involved. There's money involved, employees, their lives are involved. All these things are involved. They have this powerful thing called urgency that's in front of them every single day. And this is the sad part. I felt like God saying, yo, you don't have that urgency for souls? They have this urgency to make sure they're serving customers on earth. And I said this before, it's at times I notice that I don't have this urgency to push as hard as these companies push in my own life to upgrade myself for my customers, these souls, eternal experience. Because that's it. Man, the energy that they put in. I mean, they're mapping out how much they do here, how well they're doing here, we're not doing too well over here. We got to figure out, let's sit down, let's think about this. How do we better this area of our lives? How do we better that area of our lives? How do we move forward? How do we upgrade? How do we go higher? Why? Because they know it's life or death. But I feel at times myself, and if you guys can relate, that urgency is not there every day sometimes. Now, life or death. I'm going to give you guys some examples of life or death when it comes to these companies with urgency. How many of you guys remember this company? Nobody Beats the Wiz. Only a few, right? Like, this is like throwback. Bo's over there jawing and raising his hand like, yeah, I remember them. No, remember the song like, nobody beats the Wiz, nobody beats the Wiz. Remember that? Nobody beats the Wiz. But they did though. They beat you. You're not here no more. Nobody. Yeah, you're gone. See, Nobody Beats the Wiz was supposed to be what Best Buy is today. But because they didn't upgrade year after year, they're gone. Life or death. Next one. My goodness. These guys were on top. Kodak was on top. Kodak is supposed to be what Instagram is right now. But because they didn't upgrade year after year, evolve, change, better areas of their company's lives, they're irrelevant now. They just came out with a new logo 2013, right? Who cares? Like, who cares? You're not serving like you were serving before. In fact, you went backwards. You didn't evolve with the times. You didn't place yourself in a position to be able to have influence on what matters most because they didn't upgrade year after year. Here's another one you guys will like. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. I think VHS. I think them big things that you pop into another big thing, that you use another big thing to control the big thing. I remember those days. It's sad, man. They were on top. And they should be what Netflix is right now. But because they didn't upgrade, because the concern was not on upgrading, changing, okay, what's next? What do I need, Father, to put inside of me that will be for this year to move forward into? Because it's a matter of life and death. Now, this next one is a little different, but there's a reason why I have them in here. Okay? I personally think they need to watch out. If they're not thinking about upgrading, I'm not in their meetings or in their circles, but if they don't watch out, Amazon's going to blow them out. And you guys already know, because Amazon is killing it. They got trucks, their own trucks out there so they can hopefully deliver same day. They're evolving. Amazon is upgrading because they want to have what is key is influence in people's lives to serve them. So if we're not upgrading, if we're not going higher, I mean, we're not getting better in this area, that area, so that we can be able to touch something that's way more important than customer service and all this stuff here is somebody's eternal life. Eternal life. After that, that's it. So you think about urgency, how it plays a part. It plays a huge part. It does something to you. Think about it. If you're on the street, driving by, you stop by a park, and you see kids playing basketball, you can tell what's going on without needing to be there or hear anything. Now, you can tell whether they're playing for fun or they're keeping a score, right? You can tell if they're playing for fun. It's like, hey, shoot the ball. And it's like, oh. But then when it comes time to keep the score, like we're playing a game, everybody's face is serious. They're moving a certain way. Everyone is moving a certain way, playing a certain way, just because they have the scoreboard on. Their whole body changes. The actions that they take change just because they're keeping score. And I feel like days that we don't keep score. And I'm not talking about score about, okay, this is how many lives are saved or not saved. It's just keeping track of the truth that this is win or lose. This is life or death. You either win or lose in reaching your full potential. I mean, you can be with the Father after this life, which is great. That's great. But wouldn't it be sad that on earth you didn't reach your full potential? That could have touched even more lives? That if you were working so hard on your full potential and this one person heard it, like, wow, that changed everything just by you upgrading each year. It is life or death. So what I know, because it happens to me, when we think about, okay, how are you going to compare me to some Fortune 500 companies and ask me to upgrade? Like, how are you going to compare me? And then the thing that happens, we get a lot of limitations that pop in our minds. It's kind of like, well, they have so many resources. They got the time. They got the resources. They got people in circles sitting, thinking about, strategizing, all this stuff. I don't have what they have. The problem with that is that we tend to own our limitations. It's crazy, right? And let me explain. Have you ever heard somebody say, I'm not creative? I'm not creative. Or I'm not a deep thinker. I'm not a deep thinker. That's not me. Okay, or I'm not a reader. I'm not a reader like that. I used to say that a lot when I was saying I'm not a reader. That's just not me, right? Like in the Word, Moses. How many remember Moses leading his people out of Egypt, right? But prior to that, he took ownership of a limitation that didn't exist. Saying, I can't speak. I don't know. But yet later we find out that he spoke so well. He took on a limitation that didn't exist. But we have limitations that we put on ourselves that the majority of them probably don't exist. And that's the sad thing, because we're living with something that's not true at all. So I want to talk about God's response to that as far as limitations. Now, for example, you guys remember Adam, Eve. We remember they eat the fruit, right? They saw themselves naked. They heard God coming in the garden and they hid, right? They hid because they felt ashamed. So God says, hey, Adam, where are you? Where are you? And he comes out, he says, look, I hid because I was naked and ashamed. How many of you guys remember right after that God's response? Who told you that? For me, that's a powerful response. Who told you that? Who told you had that limitation? Because I didn't say that. Who told you that? I didn't say you were naked. Who told you that? I didn't say you weren't creative. Who told you that? I didn't say that you weren't a deep thinker. Who told you that? So life gives us these fruits, and our experiences in life, we eat it up and we take it as true. We say, oh, because of this happened when I was younger, I'm not this person. Because that happened when I was younger, I'm not this person. And we take it as true, and we live our life like that. And God's like, who told you that? I didn't tell you that. So these limitations we place on ourselves, we say, I would not be able to upgrade like that. Why? Because of this, and that. Who told you that? I'm telling you, you ask God for something as far as upgrading or whatever, you know that you feel some limitations. I promise you, he's not going to speak limitations to you and saying, hey, yeah, you're not going to be able to do that. I mean, I'm God and all, but you off with that one. Nah, he's not doing that. He's not doing that. So what we need to do here, to be able to embrace this upgrade, we have to understand. We got to embrace the fact that we're like a product. We're like a business. We're like a product. We have customers, people we are here to serve, their souls. I mean, speaking life into their hearts, doing something that serves them. We have to embrace that truth. Because we are set here for that very reason. They call it this Great Commission, what God told the disciples before he ascended to heaven. He told them something powerful. Look, go make disciples. Go make followers of me. That is the whole point. Not just so they can reach heaven or you reach heaven, but have life, eternal life here on earth as you go through better things here and then go home. So we have to embrace this truth. Now I want to talk about something. I want to talk about something that's been on my mind. Can I be real? Yeah. Can I just be just straight up? I'm just going to be straight up with you guys, right? So, heroes versus higher. For those who don't know, last year, the theme was heroes. This year, the theme is higher. Okay? And What's so funny is I have it on the website. Last year, first Sunday of January 2015, Pastor Art does this every year. He'll announce what the theme is. And man, when he announced that theme, oh man, this is gonna be dope, right? I know where I'm going. On the website, January 2016, I have this same Pastor Art introducing the theme for this year, and he says higher. Everybody's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just being real. Maybe I'm not seeing something. Maybe I'm not, getting it. But from what I've seen, it didn't seem as great as Heroes. Now, the truth is Heroes is not like just a theme that just stops. It's something that we are. What I noticed is that last year we were speaking Heroes, which was essential. Like, you guys needed to understand you weren't just some person made and whatever, but we played a part. The identity was so key to be able to move the right way, to be able to whatever we do. Your foundation had to be the truth that Jesus has for us. So that was essential. The difference between Heroes and higher, hero is talking about identity. Higher is talking about, oh, okay, it's grind time. It's grind time. Now, if somebody says to you, I love the process of going higher. Unfortunately, for me, I'm just speaking for me, I think they're lying. I'm dead serious. For someone to say, yo, I love the process of going higher, I think they are straight up lying. And I'm gonna explain why, okay? You don't hear somebody, if somebody says, I love exercising, you've heard people said that. People have said that. Yo, I love exercising, man. I love it. And no, you're lying. You're lying. No, you don't. Because if I told you this, look, from now on, when you exercise, you get no results. Nothing happens. You don't get stronger. In fact, you feel all the pain and everything that goes for exercising. And when you're done, you're back to how you were, maybe worse. How much you gonna love exercising now? Nobody likes the process. And then here's the thing. Here's the thing between two different types. People think that you're supposed to love the process in order to do it. You're supposed to love the process in order to do it, but that's not what it's about. People who get things done, people who are overachievers, whatever. You look at Paul, you look at all these people in the Word, they're not about the process. They're not about, oh, I love the process. They want the result at the end. Look, I speak a lot about athletes and stuff like that because Pastor Art introduced to me, well, what is your life verse or life passage that just represents you? And I spoke about this, about being an athletic champion. That's my life verse. That's what I'm pursuing. So I speak a lot about athletes. And if you look at athletes, none of them like the process to what it takes to be a great athlete. All they want is the results. They don't, okay, this is the process of what I gotta do. Okay, I'm gonna go do it. There was one game recently in the NBA. Kobe Bryant, he dislocates his finger in the middle of the game. Dislocates his finger. Now, if that happens, listen, you good. I understand. You want to sit down, nobody's holding anything over you. Good job, man. Good job. No. He goes to the bench, talks to whoever, I guess the trainer, and says, what's going on? Trainer comes, brings it to the bench. They kind of try to hide it. Kobe Bryant has his finger right there. The guy puts it back in, he hits it, and he walks back on the court. Because why? He doesn't love putting his finger back together, but he knows that that's what he needs to go through to be able to get back on the court and win this game. Nobody loves the process. That's not what it's about. What it's about is, what does it take to get the result? Because that's what I want. And if this is a process, let's go. That's the difference between Heroes theme and what this year's higher theme. It's a different feel. It's not the same. They're both essential, but we can't approach this year thinking, well, it's not that much butterfly. We were singing the song Rain on Me, right? Let the rain of your presence, right? Everything. And what came to my mind was, yeah, rain on me, but sometimes we think sun shower, rain on me. Like a sun shower, like everything is bright outside, it's sunny, and rain on me, right? But the rain that I believe that God is saying, rain on me, is dark clouds pouring rain on me. That's the process of going higher. God's not talking about sunshine, rain, or whatever, sun shower, or whatever, rain shower. I'm sorry, forgot the name. But he's talking about pouring rain. Sometimes it's cold too. Cold, pouring rain, dark gray skies, because I believe that because it doesn't matter about what's around. As long as here and here is connected to God's truth and God's love, doesn't matter what weather conditions outside. So now developing the upgrade. So we're talking about this upgrade that we need to pursue year after year, or we're basically dying. We're becoming irrelevant as far as having influence, which is what God is calling us to. The only way to make the disciples is to use God's influence through us to touch people. If we're not upgrading each year, we're losing that. So, as far as upgrading, what I saw was for myself when I'm trying to work on this project this year, and it looks so huge, looks so big, but I know it's a conviction by God because he's saying, do it, go, work on it, pray, I will tell you what to do. And I realized it seemed like this big fog. And I feel like that's what stops us sometimes from upgrading. It seems like you're walking in a fog, and there's fear, there's uncertainty, that's causing us, I don't want to go full force because I don't know. But what I notice is if you stop looking at the huge goal and start creating small steps. I reverse engineered a project I wanted to work on, reverse engineered, went down to the first step, the very first thing to do. I said, oh, I could do that. That's just one step. But we tend to look at the big thing, upgrade? You're talking about upgrade? Yes, I'm talking about upgrade, but it doesn't have to be this thing that you can't reach, just step to step. And why I'm saying that is important because I don't want you guys to not embrace the upgrade because you're in fear of how big it is. God's calling us to steps. Think about it. Noah's Ark. That thing is huge. He didn't build one ark, boom. He didn't do that. He did steps. And each day it got closer and closer and closer. And that's the focus I want you to have, is after a while you see this big, humongous thing in life that you can accomplish, and it's just like, boom. Just because steps. So when we talk about upgrade, please focus on steps. Dr. Henry Cloud said this nice quote, think big goals and small steps. Usually people do the opposite and it never works. Because if you think big steps, you're not going to go after it consistently. Like, oh, big step. You're not going to consistently go after the upgrade that you need to do in each part of your life. Let it be the word. Let it be spending time with God. Let it be building your knowledge in things. Let it be pursuing a goal or whatever, something God puts in your heart. If you're not upgrading, if you're not making it into steps, it's going to be really hard. So one way people like to kind of jumpstart their upgrade is New Year's resolution. All right, how many of you guys have a New Year's resolution? Okay. I don't like New Year's resolutions. I don't like them. I think they are very good. I think they are important, and I think if someone does a New Year's resolution, that's really good. What I don't like about it is the process that the average person goes with it. Okay? So, this is what happens. New Year's is coming. Everybody is talking about what are you going to do? What you going to do this year and everything. So, one, you get all this hype that everybody's talking about New Year's resolution. I got one too. This is what it is. This is my New Year's resolution, right? And what happens is, you're coming in, it's like, yo, what's your New Year's resolution? Oh, I'm going to do this, and this. And it's like, what? That's crazy. It's like, yeah, man, that is crazy, man. And then you walk away and like, yo, that's crazy. Like, you feeling good? You didn't even do nothing. You got the reward, right? Mentally, you got the reward because it's like, yo, that's a dope New Year's resolution. That's hot. That's tough, right? And then come February, even if you make it February, March, it's like, what was that? What was that? I forgot what I wrote down, even if you did. So for me, I don't like that period of time where the hype is there. So I always believe if you want to do something for 2016, which is cool, you know, that's a benchmark or a milestone or whatever, start October, start September, whatever, so that you building habits for your upgrade, when it comes time to this rush of adrenaline and this high of New Year's resolution that everybody's talking about, when that dies down, you've already been starting, so you just keep going. But sometimes we like to start things when the hype is there, the motivation is high, everything's high. I'm going to upgrade. I'm feeling it right here. Something inside, you know. I'm going to upgrade. But when you go to those lows, like the highs, the lows, you lose that. It's like, the motivation isn't there. But understand that the highs, they're great. You can't measure your strength, your full potential, what your capacity is. You can't measure that until you go to the low and see how you do. When there's no motivation, when there's the dark skies and everything, then you measure, okay, what are you made of? Are you serious about this? Not when it's all good, which is, we're going to get those moments, but I promise you, you're going to get the low moments too. Now, an alternative that I feel that a New Year's resolution is, an alternative is this. How many of you guys know what this is? WWDC? Anybody? I'm sure not a lot of people do. It's the Worldwide Developers Conference. Okay? It's Apple. They basically used this conference to say, this is where Steve Jobs was famous. He introduced the iPod. He introduced the iPhone. All this stuff that he said, look, you know, this is the new technology, this new thing that we just came up with. And this is what I like as an alternative to New Year's resolution. They never come announcing all their products, new things. They never come and say, hey, here's what we would like to do. We would like to make a phone that has these great features. It's like, oh, when is it coming out? I don't know, because we didn't start it yet. They don't announce what they would like to do. They don't announce the features on your phone that are coming. They don't announce, oh, that would be nice. We would like to do that. They don't announce that. They only announce what they've been working on, and it's finished, and they say, here, this is it. Compared to New Year's resolution, it's about, oh, this is what I would like to do for the year. They come out, oh, this is what we did. Imagine you weren't allowed to be able to speak your New Year's resolution, right? Like I put this thing on you. It's like, I can't say it. Like, I don't know. Like, or you only can say what you did the year before. That December 31st, you could say, okay, now I can speak. This is what I did. Imagine that was the rule. How many of us would talk? How many of the things that you know God is calling you to, the things that you need to better yourself in, would you be able to talk December 31st if that were the case? That you can't just say what you're going to do, you only can say what you did. If you turn to Matthew 5, And this is where Jesus is teaching, like he's going in on his teaching about divorce, about judging people, a whole lot of things. And there was something that he talks about that really stood out to me. Matthew 5. And it's in verse 33. He's talking about making promises or making oaths and all that stuff. Verse 33. Again, you have heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not swear falsely, but shall perform to the Lord what you have sworn. I'm just going to stop there, and I'm going to point out what's key over here. He's basically saying in this culture, it's like promises. You're making promises like, yo, I'm going to do this. You know, on my dad, on my this, on my all that stuff that he calls us not to do. And he's saying, look, stop talking. Just perform it to me, and then I will know this is what you're doing. He's saying, stop talking about the ideas and start talking about, or start performing what you want to get done, because it's so easy. There was an episode, and who loves this show? I know you guys love it. I love this show, on Shark Tank. And the guys, you know, they're intimidating, they're all sitting there, and then you come and present. And then one of the guys basically said, look, listen, ideas are cheap. Execution is everything. And it was so good, I printed it out, put it right in my office so I can remind myself, ideas are cheap. And this is what he means, and this is what I mean. It's easy to come up with ideas and intentions. Pastor Sharon spoke about this a while ago. It's easy to come full of intentions. Oh man, all these intentions. But unless it's executed, it means nothing. It's just an idea. And the truth is this, ideas don't add value to people's lives, but ideas executed do. They don't add value to people's lives. It's the ones that are executed. It's a nice idea, yeah, you know, Father, that's a nice idea to build an ark. Noah's probably telling, like, look, we're building an ark, but unless the Noah's ark is executed, it's actually done, it means nothing to his family, to all the animals that have to be saved and all that stuff. It means nothing. So being full of ideas is cool, but you gotta have the ones those few selected from God saying, this is what we're gonna get done. To be able to touch lives, our customers, these souls. So for this upgrade, it's cool to have all these ideas, but it's all about execution. What are you going to get done? Which goes back to the apples thing. They only talk about this is what we did. And I believe we all have that potential to say, this is what I feel God has called me to. Work on it all year to get to that place like you developing a product and be able to say, world, I'm here to be able to give what God's given me here. However it may bless you. Ideas are cheap. Execution is everything. My next question is going to sound weird, but I'm going to say why the question is there. What is your 800 shots? So we're talking about upgrade. And we're talking about how we're like a company, we're like a product that we need to develop features. And each feature that you make, let it be, oh, I have more knowledge in this part of the Bible, or I've been working on my prayer life, and now I have better intimacy with God, or I've been working on this outreach, all these things, right? You want to add features to yourself to better yourself as an upgrade so that people can benefit, right? What is your 800 shots? And let me explain. So there was this trainer who they've been training players for a long time in conditioning, like physical conditioning. And he had the opportunity to go and be able to train with the USA basketball team that travels around the world to win the gold medal. So he was really excited to be able to work with Kobe Bryant because he always heard how, man, Kobe's work ethic is ridiculous. So he said, look, hey, Kobe, if you want me to just work with you personally or whatever, here's my number, give me a call, and then we could do this. So he goes to bed. It's 4:00 in the morning, and he gets a call. He's looking, and it's Kobe Bryant. 4:00 in the morning. He's like, hello? And he's like, hey, man, I hope this is not a bad time. I think it's funny. I'm sure Kobe knows, like, nobody's up at 4 in the morning. It's like, hey, I hope it's not a bad time. And he's like, yeah, no, it's a good time. It's cool. What's up? And he said, hey, I wanted to see if in an hour you can come and we could work on some stuff. He's like, yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll come to the gym and we can work on some stuff. So he gets himself ready, he comes to the gym, he comes into the door, maybe the lobby area, and he's hearing a ball bouncing. You hear the screeching of the sneakers, somebody's going in. He comes in the gym, he sees Kobe drenched in sweat, like he's been there for an hour. And he's like, oh, wow, okay. So they do the workout, right? They're working on some stuff and whatever. And he says, all right, we're done. It's been like 2 hours. I'm going to go back to the hotel. I'm going to get some rest. And Kobe says, yeah, I'm going to take a couple shots or whatever. So he leaves. He goes. It's time for the main practice for the USA team. He walks in. All the other players are coming in. He sees Kobe there. And he comes like, hey, man, great job with the workout stuff we were doing. He was like, oh, yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate you helping me out. And then he asked Kobe, hey, so what time did you leave? And Kobe's like, oh, what? He said, oh, what time did you finish with shooting? He said, well, actually, just now, I wanted to make sure I made 800 shots before I left. And he's blown away. I'm blown away. I'm like, whoa, 800 shots. Not 100. Like, look, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I made that, right? That's 5. We're talking about 800. 800 shots made. And then you wonder, like, man, that's probably why he's so good. That's probably why he's a legend. Now, the thing is, here's the thing. You guys, I'm assuming you guys are not really impressed by 800 shots. I'm not impressed by 800 shots made. I'm not impressed by Noah's Ark being built. I'm not impressed. Nehemiah building the walls around Israel. I'm not impressed by walls being built. What you're impressed by is a person that is willing mentally to do that. Now, 800 shots, it's not new knowledge. It's not new knowledge. We all know if you do 800 shots a day, you're going to be a good shooter. That's common knowledge. That's nothing new. What shocks us is the person who's actually willing to go through the process and do that, to go higher, to upgrade. That's what surprises you. That's what shocks you, because I could build a machine, right, that could be positioned perfectly at the basket and throw the ball perfectly, and I say, yo, this made 800 shots. You'll be like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. So it's not the 800 shots. It's the person who's willing mentally to go through the process to upgrade themselves, to go through the process and make it something that's extreme. How extreme are we willing to go? That's when I ask you, what are your 800 shots? How extreme are you willing to go to better yourself in certain areas of your life that you know you need to better yourself in? How extreme are you willing to go in your own craft, to perfect your craft, to perfect your gifting from God? Whatever it is, are you willing to do what it takes to upgrade? Are you willing to do what it takes to go higher? So, with this upgrade, with what God is calling us to, with this being life or death, with doing what it takes to not only be identified as a hero, but do what it takes to be one. That's what this year is about. That's what higher is about, and that's what it takes to do this upgrade. But there's one thing I want to say that is truly key. Okay? Now, let's say I'm working on an upgrade, and this person over here is working on an upgrade, and we can look so identical. We could be doing the same exact thing. But there's this one question that is key to what these two people, these two examples are doing. There's this one question that powers you. There's this one question that gives you access to freedom. This one question gives us energy source. And that question is why? Why? Why are you doing the upgrade? As much as I've been talking about how important it is to go higher, how important it is to upgrade, why are you doing it? Because somebody of the world, they could look just like us as we're pursuing, as we're working on our 800 shots, as we're doing all that we're doing. It could look exactly the same, but the only thing that's different is the why. Are you doing it because you feel insignificant? Are you doing it to be accepted? Why are you pursuing this upgrade? If you haven't started pursuing an upgrade, this is the question that you have to continually ask yourself. You have to actually dig in for the answer. Because if it's to be accepted, there's something wrong there. There's something wrong there that you need to address with God and find out, oh, I am already accepted. I am already accepted. So there's freedom. I can be free from that reason. What's a deeper reason? Is it to feel significant? Oh, trust me. Because of God, yes, I am significant. He labeled me. Boom. Significant. He made me valuable. So you have to find out the why behind what you're pursuing in anything you do. I spoke of a message about rituals and routines and really pushing that, and that's really good. But at the same time, you have to visit why, because it's easy to become creatures of habit. It's easy to do something that you forgot why you're doing it. And when you lose why you're doing it and it gets tough, it's like, why am I doing this? Forget this. 800 shots, I'm on 300. Why would I need to do this? It's the why behind what you do. Why are you doing what you're doing? And when you're asking that question and you're digging in, what you're doing is you're teaching yourself how to find out the truth about yourself. And once you're able to see the truth about yourself, God's showing you the truth, the better He can be able to address things. But if you don't allow yourself to embrace this process of finding out why you do what you do, it'll be harder for God to take this truth and put it inside because you're not open for Him to put it in. So this upgrade is something God's been talking to me close to the end of last year and just really hitting me. It's like every year you got to better yourself in the areas that I'm calling you to. You have to, because you'll end up like these companies that had the opportunity to touch lives and now they're gone. Kodak is still a running business. You didn't know that. It's sad, right? Blockbuster is still going. But they're not doing what they used to do. They're trying to do what Netflix started way before Blockbuster even seen it. And now it's too late because Netflix kept upgrading. What's next? What do we got to work on next? What do we got to do next? The upgrade is key to meeting your full potential. It's a matter of life and death. And you have to give yourself time to sit and really think about the fact that souls are involved. That's how you get that urgency. That's the only way you get that urgency, so that you could do what needs to be done. Everybody wants to be labeled hero. Does everybody want to do what needs to be done? Father, I really ask that you you seal this in their hearts, because I really want them to just grab onto this. I really want this to hit their hearts, because this is the way you are calling us to. Man, I'm thinking about Paul. This is the way you were pushing him to. This was his drive. This needs to be our drive. Either we're growing or we're dying. We're pulling back or whatever. Father, I ask that you spark in their hearts this desire to upgrade. But most importantly, that you show them, that you open their eyes to see the purpose that you have within them, so that it doesn't matter where they are in this roller coaster of life. If they're in the low point, that it doesn't matter, that this why fuels them. Father God, I want this in their hearts. I want this in their being. The truth of what you have them here for. Oh, man. I pray that they're willing to open up and see that and move into that, so that you can do what you do in them, so that they can see the results. Like, wow, this is what it is to be an upgrade. This is what it is to go higher. This is what comes out of it. And that just builds momentum, Father. I just want that in their hearts. Man, convict them with this truth that is yours, that you've given me, that I know you've given hearts in here. Just open their eyes, Holy Spirit. Touch them so that they can move into this next year, this year that they're in, and upgrade, Father. Seal this tight in them. I love you. Thank you, guys.